much. So I'm going to talk in English, if it is okay.
Sì, sì.
So let me put it and start in an informal way somehow. And let me tell you that a couple of years ago, while I was following a master thesis of a promising student, it came out some aspects that really made me think about the importance of color and the importance of really understanding what is the scientific process that is needed to communicate how was an artistic item, an art piece of a collection. So what came out, as in the image that you are seeing here, that for a long time and still today, the lack of colors is interpreted by some ideology, white supremacist ideology, as an element, a really important element. So in this case, and this comes from websites that are online available, so you might understand clearly here how the whiteness of the classical statues are taken as a reference point for white supremacists to support the idea of the whiteness, of the superiority of whiteness. And this is completely wrong. And on the other side, we know how much color is important. So here it's a quote, a citation of Zeki Semir. He's a neuroscientist working on aesthetics. And he really has done a lot of works on how color is important in terms of brain processes. So color constitutes one means of stabilizing the world and thus obtaining constant knowledge of it. And this is true in general, but also in artworks. So color are really important to understand, to get the emotion, the feelings of arts. And you may imagine what could be our world in museums without colors. You really couldn't appreciate the beauty of those pieces. And color is really important also in new digital art creations, where, like in this case, not only the color, but the transparency, the characteristics of color in the real context are really relevant. And color gives information also about, gives an idea of concepts such as beauty, as in this case. This is here in Naples. Actually, this Venus in bikini will be back in July next month, but it's an amazing piece of art. And about despair, about anxiety. So a lot of concepts, a lot of information pass through our artworks through color. Even dresses, historical textiles, is using colors. But unfortunately, there's a lot to be said and to be known about colors. Let's think about the textiles. I'm always doing this example because it's really relevant for us. What I discovered is that the color in textiles can fade sometimes in 10 years. It's really in a short time, in 10 years. Can you see this dress that comes from the Victoria and Albert Museum? So you might, on the left, you might see, okay, it's quite a boring dress, brownish. And then if you see behind, in some hidden parts, there are some left color that can give us this idea of the amazing beauty that would have been the original color of distress. And all the work that is needed from the conservation science perspective can really help us in giving the original idea of the original color. Sometimes this color is almost completely lost, as in classical statues, the first example we started with. And in this case, for example, we need to really use a combination of techniques and approaches to be able to give a potential idea of partial, potential idea of the original color. In this case, you use in combination conservation science analysis together with the study, archaeological, artistic. You try to understand the context of an artwork to get to 1, 2, 3, a number of potential color reconstruction. The problem is always, there's always a problem of communicating. When you want to provide a reconstruction of the original color. And there's always a discussion, even inside our scientific family, about how to communicate where we can reach, what we can say about a reconstruction that can almost not, is not conserving much of the colors. But the biggest challenge is, and the big question of the project I'm presenting today is this. Let's try to create an interconnection between conservation sciences, historical, archaeological, artistic knowledge, techniques that can communicate using virtual experiences to a public, for example, like in gaming, or projection technique, okay? Using also in introducing more advanced techniques, such as those that adopt artificial intelligence and image-based rendering technique. This is exactly what Perceive is trying to do. It is a research project that involves 11 partners, 8 different countries, and 6 different scenarios. So we, in the project, we are developing a core based on an artificial intelligence and image-based rendering modules. This is more or less the entire project in one slide. So we work on 5 different contexts, from the polychromy of the classical statues, the paintings, the textiles, also the historical photos and digital art. We work trying to define data and material modeling. We develop this core, AI and IBR core, and we develop a platform that is made of services and tools that are used also to create what we have called the Perceive experiences. We do some assessment, and at the end of the project, in 2025, we bring all results to the public in an hybrid exhibition that will be partially in some of the museums that are partnered of the project, partially online. So this is the timeline. The museums that are, I'm starting from the museum perspective, the museums that are part of the project are the Victoria and Albert Museum that I already quoted, the Man Museum in Naples, the Art-Institute of Chicago, the Munch Museum in Oslo. And on the other side, we have a big group of research institutions. My institution, CNR-ISPC, is coordinating the project. There's FORTH, that is the Greek counterpart of the project. We have the Fraunhofer IGD that will be working mainly on the AI part, and that is a Norwegian group dealing specifically with color reconstruction, the Color Lab. and a company that is really important for us, a French company that is called Anamnesia. They have, they are exhibition designer. They work for digital exhibitions, and they have recently started a new spin-off called IMKI about AI. So their goal is using AI approaches to create content, augmented content that can be used in exhibitions. Okay. So I already told you about the different scenarios. We started already working with the Lost Polychromy at Man Museums a couple of weeks ago. We were there starting our campaigns, the fading colors in paintings, and we're going to work on the Scream of Munch, the fading colors in textiles with the Victorian Museum, and also about, we're going to work on historical photos, and specifically on a type of photo that is called autochromes, that are the first color photographs made by a specific process that are really in danger because they are losing the color of the images, and digital art. So there are a couple of concepts. So you see the process really try to align, to create a unique workflow from conservation science to the public, to the visitors. So there are a couple of concepts that for us are really crucial, that somehow are the glue of the project Perceive. The first one is authenticity, and the second one is caring attitude. So what is authenticity? Because it's really important, and our colleague researcher told us that it is important that we keep the authenticity of, even in the reconstructions. On the other side, we know from the tourism sector that tourists search for meaningful, memorable, and authentic experience. So we start asking to ourselves, what does it mean, authenticity really? The authenticity of an object and of an experience. So we started exploring these concepts. We have used a nice tool that designer use that is called Cultural Probe Kit. It is a way no, don't worry. It is a way to understand, to really explore what people think at home. So we asked a number of potential users to take a diary with them for 8 days. We asked them to do some activities like go into a museum, shoot a picture that represents for you what is authentic or non-authentic. And then we collect all the replies, and we were really surprised because authenticity, actually, we have seen that as many dimensions, not only one. It has 3 dimensions that are interconnected: the self, ourselves, the reference point, the others, us in connection with the society, with the others, the world, the environment. Emotion, second point, are really crucial in the perception of authenticity. The social component is relevant. The validation process and the identification of the truth and the reliability of what we are communicating is important. But also, the other 2 discoveries are the sense of familiarity. What we recorded is that people report authenticity as being at home, feeling at home, and the atmosphere. So the environment identified by the illumination, the sounds, and so on. So we came out with this idea of this triangle of authenticity. And we have understood how this is multidimensional with these 3 interconnected domains with several components. And authenticity really works touching the deeper self of a person through performative action. It requires time for action, transforming what is unknown You see the first image of the white statues, at the beginning, transforming what is unknown, unfamiliar, distant, in something that is familiar, close, better known. And the same is for caring. The big problem here, and then I'm closing the presentation, the big problem with cultural heritage is the lack of a sense of care for our cultural heritage. Okay, we know that, but how can we improve? How can we develop digital applications that can strengthen, develop this sense of care? Because we know from biology and sociology that caring works when there is a biological relation, mother, son. The kids cry, the mother acts. But what happened with objects, with artworks? So the keyword is relation and time. Just quoting a sentence of The Little Prince, it's the time, do you remember the sentence of the rose? So it's the time you spend for your rose that make it unique. And this, I think, is the crucial part of the caring. So this is what we are doing, and we have already developed the first prototype, trying to test some of these discoveries in an hybrid collaborative experience, the Brancacci point of view. The website will be online soon, at the end of the month. So I'm going to invite you all to visit it, because it's really try to to increase authenticity and carry using specific design approaches. So I invite you to visit the website, to follow. If you have any question about the project, please contact me.